Hello, empowered woman. Welcome to this episode of the Empowered Woman Podcast. Today, first and foremost, I'm celebrating. I just found out a couple days ago that the Empowered Woman Podcast was ranked number 7 on a list of the 20 Mompreneur podcasts you must follow. Say what? And of course, the topic of the day, what does time management and content creation have to do with personal development and self-love? You may be surprised, but it's got everything to do with it. Let me show you how. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Empowered Woman Podcast, the #1 show on personal development for women entrepreneurs. If you're wanting to stop spinning your wheels, trying random personal development resources, and actually boost your confidence to show up fearlessly in your life and business, this is the place for you. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Marta Spurk, and I'm your host, triplet mom, woman empowerment coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. Welcome again. Let's dive into today's episode. All right, full disclosure, I'm recording this episode when my kids were supposed to be napping. They woke up prematurely, so you will hear little chatter, potentially screeches, and eventually a scream, which in that case, I'll just have to pause and go see what's going on. But we'll see. We'll see how good I can do it here. And it goes really hand in hand with what I want to be talking about, of time management and all the things while having triplets, 4-year-old triplets at home. But before we get to that, can you celebrate with me the amazingness that is that my show was featured on this list of 20 Mompreneur podcasts to watch out for, and that it was number 7. And what's even more amazing is that I have had the pleasure of being a guest in 2 of the top 5 and have one of the ladies be a guest. So one of the podcasts was Word of Mom, and I've been on that show as well. Amazing. And then Boss Mom, I had Dana Malstaff on the show a few weeks ago. So super excited, super glad. And I shared this on social media, and everyone was just so supportive, and saying, you deserve it. You've been putting your heart into this. And I really have. It's been a labor of love, and it's gotten me so many amazing things. And that's one of the things that I have been sharing a lot in guest presentations that I do, and even with my clients, is how podcasting has helped me get so clear on my messaging and how it's been so therapeutic and at the same time amazing for building connections and relationships, because if you have a podcast, chances are you're going to be looking for guests. And so that really adds an element of getting out of your comfort zone of, pitching and getting those no's and learning from the experience. So it's been an amazing ride, and I'm so grateful for you listening to me. And if you've been thinking about starting a podcast, I highly encourage you to do so. Shoot me a message, shoot me an email. I would love to support you and answer any questions that you may have, because it's really an amazing journey and it's so worth it, especially if you're an entrepreneur wanting to get your word out there. And it's a great card up your sleeve to offer up when you connect with someone interesting, is to continue on the conversation by inviting them for an interview on your show. This is one of the techniques that I've been using, and it's yielded amazing results and amazing connections. So highly encourage and recommend it. I will post a link of the list of the 20 podcasts, so you can go check out other fellow Mompreneur podcasts and see what else is out there if you'd like some recommendations. But now let's get down to business and talk a little bit more about time management and content creation. I got to tell you, by me stepping out on a limb and talking about something that I am not used to talking about specifically, even though that is something that I deal with in private with my one-on-one clients, it is a little bit scary because I want to be consistent with my message. I don't want to be jumping all over, and I don't want to talk about something that I don't consider my expertise. But the response that I'm getting from, offering up my help and what I have been using as a triplet mom and business owner during a pandemic, and how 2020 has been my most productive, my most visible, and my most profitable year yet, people are interested. They want to know. They want to know what I'm doing and how it's working. And so when my business coach challenged me to offer something over the holidays, to really give back, think about something that I could offer that I haven't really talked about, this is the first thing that came to mind because it is a thing that people always compliment me on and ask me, how do you survive? How do you sleep? And so I had to take a good look at what I have been doing and how it's been working. And it's so interesting how we dissect all of our failures, right? We beat ourselves up. We keep mulling that over and we can't let it go. Why don't we do the same with our successes? Why don't we go back and look at all the things that we're doing while we're being successful? This is really the habit of a successful person, is looking back and analyzing what they have been doing that has been working and doing more of what has been working instead of punishing and beating yourself up for what hasn't worked. Are you with me? We really need to learn this art, and I have been learning this more than ever. And so, but of course, with me sharing this more, even though people are super excited, the majority of people, there have been people that have reached out and said, I don't need content creation right now. I need to focus more on my personal journey, on my spiritual journey. And this is exactly what I was afraid of, that me talking about time management would push people away, the people that have been drawn to me because I talk so much about the inner work. And I wanted to make this episode to make it very, very clear that I am still talking about personal development, even though I'm talking about time management. And I want to make this connection so clear so that you see also why time management is such a big deal for you, or why is it so hard for you. And it's because you haven't really dealt with the root cause of your difficulty and of your struggle. And this is 100% what I'm going to be getting into detail in my webinar coming up next week. Of course, this is what I'm leading to. Can't talk. But before I go there, let me talk to you about time management and content creation in the context of consistency. Because essentially, this is what comes down to. You do well for a little bit, and then you fall off, just like a diet. I keep using this example, but it's so true. You get super excited to build some momentum. You're like, my gosh, I have a system. And then a few weeks in, it doesn't work anymore. And then you fall off the face of the internet. And then you expect people to know what you're selling, what you're offering, right? And to buy from you. And it doesn't happen. And why is that? Because you haven't created that consistency, that trust, that bond. And why is it so hard to create consistency? And this is what I shared in the episode earlier in the week that that was the audio from the training that I did. Is having a plan, is making it easy on yourself. And so really showing up a lot and being visible is another thing that people always ask me. How do you find the motivation? How do you keep showing up? And earlier this week, actually on Sunday, we had our first real snowstorm. Well, here in Colorado, because 2020 has been crazy, the first snowfall happened the first week of September, which is unheard of. Insane. And then we were fine, back to hot days and all the things. And then now, mid to end October, we had our first snowfall, real snowfall, which is usually when it happens. But it's, one of those days, especially stuck at home, that it's gloomy. You don't really want to get out of bed. The mornings are darker and it's cold outside, and you're just adjusting to the new temperatures and to the new season. Even though I do not love the snow, you know what I'm talking about. It is gloomy. And it's on days like that you don't feel like doing anything. I mean, regular tasks at the house, like getting dressed, even eating, let alone coming up with stuff to put on social media, put up the front of, hey, I'm happy with my business, let me help you, because I'm helping myself. You know what I mean? And so not only that, but everything that we've been experiencing this year. I remember when COVID first hit and everyone was freaking out. It was kind of a weird season for you to keep talking about your business because there were so many other pressing issues going on. And then there were, the whole social injustice movements and everything that was happening. Another wave of, maybe I shouldn't be talking about my business right now. Maybe I should just delete social media and forget about my business for a few months, And then now We have the election coming up. So many other concerns. And then kids going back to school, remote learning, part-time, in person. So much stress. And then, so add all of those things. How do you find the drive and the consistency to keep putting yourself out there so that you can grow your business? And I even had a conversation with one of the members of the Empowered Women School earlier in the week. And she said this exact same thing. She said, with so much going on in the world, it's hard to want to talk about anything because people have lots of things to worry about. But then she said, I love what you're doing. You're showing up, you're being present, and it's really inspiring. And so many people have complimented me, especially during the pandemic. Even one of my mentors, who has been someone that I always look up to, she said, I have even been telling my husband, you're amazing. Even with the kids at home with the pandemic, you're just all over the place in the sense of you're just so visible. You're on my feed and everything. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. And I'm going to tell you why I have kept showing up. It's not only because I have not run out of things to talk about, but it's because I've been able to create a strategy that allows me to share my message effortlessly. Kids are being a little loud there. I've really come up with a system, and this is what I want to share with you more, because we all have things to say. Your message, your mission, it really, really matters. People are waiting to be uplifted by you with whatever it is that you can offer. But if you don't have a clear vision of how you can share what you're doing with everyone, you're really doing a disservice to yourself, to your business, and to these people. So I want to encourage you to stop stopping yourself today and really learn to combine content with confidence. And here's how time management and content creation has everything to do with personal development and self-love. Because let's talk a little bit more about discipline, right? And consistency, because they're very close related. Most often than not, discipline is associated to something negative, right? Pain, sacrifice, no pain, no gain, right? Especially when you think diet. You eat that cake, you got to go run on the treadmill, right? This is how we've been trained to think. But how about reframing discipline and even consistency as self-love? Because if you look at something and you understand the benefits of that practice outweigh any inconvenience, aren't you more inclined to give it a whirl? And if I'm an expert at anything, it's really finding the silver lining in the lesson and everything. And I have really learned how to make discipline and consistency in my life and in my business enjoyable. And this is what I want to share with you today and in my webinar, of course. But one of the things that I've been brought back to remember in this whole talk of, let's talk about inner work and not content creation, and how showing up is not just a matter of being amazing and it's just easy for you. No, it's having the knowledge of the benefits of what you're doing, and that whenever it is hard for you, that's when you need to dig deeper to find that strength. So with all of this, I remembered 20 odd years ago when I was 14 in Brazil, and I spent hours and hours in my room after school reading the Bible and listening to sermons in English in cassette tapes. Yes, back in the day, cassette tapes. I would get so excited about what I was learning that I just had to share it. And I then started asking my mom, who was and still is a pastor in our church in Brazil, I would ask her if I could speak at one of the services. And this is when my speaking began. I would lead in an entire service with my Bible, with my notes, and just share what I was reading. And I remember that one of my favorite things to preach was that it's so easy to praise God when everything is going well. Not so much when adversity hits, right? Except, even back then, I understood that it's in the hard times that we need to reach within. It's in the hard times that we need to reach within us the most, because that's when we find strength we didn't know we had. And one of the things I get asked a lot as a triplet mom and business owner is not only how I find the time, but also, like I said, how I keep showing up even when I don't feel like it and when I want to quit. And I've been going back to these wise teachings that I've had 20 years ago. The way out of challenges, my friend, is the way in. And yeah, I'm talking about time management and content creation, but I don't want you to be mistaken. All of this still falls into personal development and self-love. And why is that? Because your time is your most valuable asset. You can never get it back. Preserving your time and preserving your energy is self-love and it's self-respect. Think about the times that you pack your calendar full and you feel so freaking overwhelmed because you can't say no. You think, if I just say yes, this may be that opportunity that, gives me that big breakthrough. Or if I say no, that person will be offended and I'm going to be cutting this connection, or breaking this relationship. These are all forms of self-disrespect. So when you learn to create and set specific boundaries around your life and around your business, you are being respectful to yourself. And guess what? You're being respectful to the people in your life as well, whether it be your family or your clients. So preserving your time and preserving your energy, which is time management, right? And content creation falls into that aspect because it takes up some of your time as a business owner. It is so important. It has everything to do with self-love and self-respect, but it can only happen if you have a plan. And that is why I've decided to end 2020 sharing what has worked for me in the time management and content creation department so that you too can set yourself up for success in 2021 and make 2021 your most profitable, your most productive, and your most visible year. So this is what I'm going to be sharing in my webinar. I'm going to be tying everything together because if you think I'm going to go up there and share with you 3 little steps into how to create content, you're mistaken. I'm going to dig deep and I'm going to start with the Enneagram. I'm going to start with the Enneagram and I'm going to say how you need to learn how to work with yourself and not against yourself, and how understanding yourself is key to doing that. Then we're going to go over and into detail, talk about your business pillars, talk about finding your clients' pain points. Then after that, we'll go and talk about really doing market research and repurposing your content even in your market research. And I'll be super specific in the 3 steps that you need to take to create content. And then I will give you a list of how to repurpose. It's going to be amazing. I was putting the slides together today and I was just amazed at my own wisdom, I have to say. And I just want to shout this from the rooftop. So if you haven't registered, just go to martasburg.com/webinar. If you have registered, please share this with a friend because chances are your friend is overwhelmed right now with life, whether they are an entrepreneur or a working mom, whatever. Everyone needs to hear this because it is a message of self-love, self-preservation, and all of us needs this as a human being, as human beings. So I'm so excited about this. It's going to be so awesome. So yeah, this has got everything to do with personal development and self-love. And I hope I've made myself clear. So I hope to see you there November 5th, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. So much excitement for being recognized as an awesome podcast, for sharing my heart and my knowledge with you. And don't forget, do yourself a favor and show up on the webinar. Let's get you to repurpose like a boss. Until next time, bye.